A Metro North passenger train has derailed in New York City, leaving some train cars submerged in water. The train was in fact derailed at around 5:45 a.m. This train was, the derailment happened in the Bronx area is what we understand at the moment. Now, the police say that the Metro North passenger train derailed in New York City with some carriages going underwater, and some of the eyewitnesses at the moment say that numerous emergency vehicles have responded, and that the submerged carriages is what they are focusing on at this point in time to pull them out of that. There were passengers on board the train at the time of the accident. This train started at 5:54 a.m. is what we understand, and the accident, let me correct myself, happened at 7:20 a.m. Sunday morning, and these are the latest visuals that we're getting at the moment. This train accident happened, the derailment happened in New York City, and the carriages, some of them have gone underwater. That's the cause of concern at the moment, although emergency vehicles have responded quickly to the situation. The train was at 5:45 a.m. It moved out of Poughkeepsie is what we understand, and a Hudson River town to the north of New York City. It was due to arrive in New York City's Grand Central Station at 7:43 a.m. and 7:20 is when this derailment happened around the Bronx area. This metro train accident that's taken place in New York, the North Metro train, derailed at around 7:20 a.m. American time. Some of the carriages have gone underwater. Emergency vehicles have responded quickly. Eyewitnesses say that there were passengers inside the carriages that have gone underwater. So focus will clearly remain on pulling those carriages, those train carriages out of water. This train moved out from Poughkeepsie at around 5:54 a.m. It was supposed to reach the Grand Central Station of New York City at 7:43 a.m. But just about 20 minutes before it reached its destination at around Bronx area, the accident occurred this Sunday morning at 7:20 a.m. and some of the carriages have gone underwater. There are some eyewitnesses who are saying that they did see some passengers on board the train at the time when this accident took place. Those are some of the details that we are getting for you at the moment. On your television screens, you can clearly see that derailed train. Just a minute from now, there you have it on your television screens. The train derailed there, and some of the carriages have gone underwater. This is near the Bronx area at around 7:20 a.m. this morning in New York City is when this accident occurred. What we are also getting to know right now is that 2 people have died in that train mishap. There are carriages that are underwater. The emergency vehicles have responded. They are at the spot trying to pull those carriages out and also trying to get people who are trapped inside those carriages that are wrecked at the moment. You can clearly see in those visuals that we're getting for you out of the debris. What eyewitnesses are saying is that they do understand that there are some passengers trapped inside those carriages. This is the Metro North Railroad train that in fact derailed this morning in New York City. The derailment happened at around the Bronx area. What we also understand at this point is that 2 deaths have been reported so far. Those are scenes from the spot that we can get for you. Rescue operations, of course, on at the moment. Those are carriages that have derailed absolutely in a wreck situation lying there. But what's a cause of concern is that some carriages have gone underwater. What eyewitnesses are saying that those carriages also had passengers on them. Now, this train was moving out of Poughkeepsie at 5:45 a.m. It was supposed to reach at 7:43 a.m. at the Grand Central Station in New York City. Just about 20 minutes before that, at around 7:20 a.m., this tragedy occurred, the mishap occurred. The train was derailed, killing 2 people is what we understand, and it's in the Hudson River in New York City that some of the carriages have gone underwater. Emergency vehicles responded immediately. That's what eyewitnesses have been telling agencies that are in New York at this point. They are sharing information that the derailed coaches had some passengers on them. Now the immediate focus is to get those passengers out, especially from the carriages that have gone underwater. Shivani Gupta is now joining us with more details on that mishap that's occurred in New York City. Shivani, what more information do you have at this moment?
Maha, there are only sketchy details that are coming out of New York right now. What we do know is that there has been this big mishap in New York City, in the Bronx area, just outside of the main city. Witnesses, the early accounts of witnesses say that there are a few carriages that are submerged in water in the river right now. Although very few pictures have come out, come to us so far. What it has done, though, it has initiated a huge response, emergency response in New York cities. Importantly, multiple injuries are being reported after this commuter train derailing. This was the Spuyten-Duyvil section of the Bronx metro line. So far, we are hearing that 2 people are dead, but there can be many, many more injuries. The extent of the accident looks quite big, and that has certainly, initiated a huge amount of emergency response in the city. Latest reports that we're getting is that certain witnesses or certain people at the spot say that there are now already numerous emergency vehicles which have responded to this emergency and have reached the spots. One detail emerging also is that according to the Metro Department, 5 of the 7 cars of the train have derailed. So almost the entire metro train derailing, and that you can imagine can lead to multiple casualties and injuries as well. Like I mentioned, some witnesses have said that there are cars which have submerged in water, so that could compound the problem. Although one police source is also saying right now that the submersion might not be the case. So there are conflicting reports which are coming out right now. Some witnesses said cars have been submerged. Police, though, some sources are saying that that isn't the case right now. As I mentioned, emergency response has been initiated, and with several emergency service vehicles already there at the spot. Passengers are already being taken out of the accident area, and we believe that many of them are being taken forward to their to medical assistance in the area as well. Once again, it is important to emphasize that already reports are coming in that several are feared dead in this accident, and there could be loads, dozens and dozens of injuries. Like I said, initial reports suggest that 5 out of the 7 bogies of this metro train derailed, although we are not quite clear on the submersion part, whether some bogies have submerged in the river as well. But it is quite clear that this is a major accident on the Bronx line in New York City, and there will be some casualties that will come out of this accident. Another detail which we're accessing right now is that another train had derailed at the same spot in July as well. It's known to be a dangerous curve on the line, is what the initial reports are saying. And like I said, and one incident happened in July as well, and now another in December. So this seems to be a spot which is considered very dangerous because of its curve on the line.